Every young girl who dreams of going pro eventually learns the same painful truth, which is that talent isn't the problem, respect is. Women's sports came about much later than men's sports, and it feels as though women have never caught up. In the WNBA, the minimum salary for players is about $66,000, but the minimum for the NBA is just over $1.1 million. WNBA players like Nafisa Collier are part of the fight to reshape the social conversation surrounding women and provide them with the recognition and compensation they deserve. Some people believe that WNBA players and all female athletes should be paid and respected as much as their male counterparts. Other supporters argue that they shouldn't earn quite as much as the men because their experience in revenue generation is lower. There are also people that are against the rise of women's sports and advocate for male superiority in athletics. Female athletes, specifically WNBA players, have put in the hard work, but society hasn't matched their efforts when it comes to compensation. Since the beginning of women's sports, women have been compared to their male counterparts, their salaries, their resources, their physical attributes, but no one ever mentions the hard work and dedication. Both WNBA and NBA players adhere to intense training sessions and numerous hours of skills work. In reality, the women are working more to supplement their income. In a study on WNBA players' mental health, it is found that when players aren't financially secure, they often go overseas during the off-season just to make ends meet. That means no true downtime, no rest for the body, no break for the mind. The struggle to remain financially stable only shows the dedication that women have. While men focus on recovery and rest in the off-season, women are overseas working on improving their skills. Whether it is willingly or not, the women are undoubtedly putting in a lot of hard work. In 1972, Congress passed Title IX, which is a law that mandates equal opportunities for both male and female athletes. Shannon Morgan reviews that despite the effectiveness of Title IX at increasing participation in sports, women in the sports industry continue to be denied equal opportunities to compete, equal access to facilities and resources, and most notably, equal pay. The imbalance in appreciation for men's sports compared to women's sports reveals the bigger issue of society undervaluing women's contributions in communities. Women have many talents that can elevate society if we allow them the resources, and it begins with recognizing and valuing their work. When leagues like the WNBA fail to recognize players the way they deserve, it leaves players with two options. Like most hardships in life, you can accept defeat or you can fight. In this case, the players can tolerate these conditions and allow the league to treat them poorly, or they can make a stand and shape the league into their own desirable environment. WNBA star Nafisa Collier is a great example of this. When she saw the flaws in leadership within the WNBA, she didn't accept it. She found a way to fight it. She is now the co-founder of the women's basketball league Unrivaled. When asked about the league and its benefits, she explained,
So it feels like everyone is making money off of women's sports except for the women in the sports. And so, we solve that by we offer the highest average team salary in women's sports, and we're giving equity to everyone who's playing.
By creating a successful league that prioritizes the needs of the players, Collier exemplifies women's work. Through her leadership, it is proven that women are capable and powerful. It is in society's best interest to invest money, trust, and resources for women to expand our communities. Unrivaled is also an example of how society can be altered to accept women and show them appreciation. As a new and upcoming league, they are able to pay their players well by making it a priority. The WNBA generates more revenue, and yet they still don't pay players according to their efforts. In a speech to the press, Nafisa Collier explains,
For too long, I have tried to have these conversations in private, but it's clear there is no intention of accepting there's a problem. The league has made it clear it isn't about innovation, it isn't about collaboration, it's about control and power.
better pay, better scheduling, better marketing. It's all possible, but the unaccepting nature of society makes it feel as though it is impossible. However, we know that change is not brought about easily. It is fought for long and hard. In recent years, society has become more accepting of women's sports. The rise of women's sports challenges questions about gender and worth. Women's leagues are growing financially and socially, ultimately reeling in more attention. As fans are watching games, buying merchandise, and following athletes, it shows a cultural shift. In March 2025, ESPN reported that the league's income is expected to increase by 25% from the previous season. This brings up the question, why now? Why are women's sports suddenly more exciting than previous years? The answer is simply that it's not. The WNBA in particular has made no drastic changes in recent years to spark a growth like this. The change that is impacting women's sports is found within society. If people continue to accept female athletes and their talents, the league can continue to grow and eventually provide players with the compensation they deserve. As the league grows and is more visible to the public, it influences young people, especially girls, and expands possibilities. It allows young athletes to dream big and view their own potential as a reality, showing once again that as society values women's sports and allows them to expand, they are strengthening culture and brightening the future. This issue is bigger than sports. It's about respect. It's about appreciation. It's about making sure that people get treated the way they deserve. When someone puts in an immense amount of time and dedication towards something that influences a lot of people and are still underpaid, it reveals a flaw in the system. Not just a flaw in women's sports, but a flaw that will translate to other environments if we allow it to continue. Allowing WNBA players to receive unfair compensation weakens cultural standards and makes this behavior acceptable in other environments. It reinforces the mindset that women can work just as hard but still matter less. This ultimately shows young people that hard work doesn't lead to opportunity and limits the potential of upcoming generations. On the other hand, if this issue is properly addressed, it will promote industry expansion and create more job opportunities, which would support economic growth for society. It would also encourage a society that values respect and equality, creating an environment where people feel seen and supported. Knowing that how women are valued in sports reflects directly on how women are valued everywhere shows that this is not just some issue that is happening. It is an issue that directly impacts you and the environment you live in. So to help this issue, you can support women's sports, watch the games, follow the athletes, talk about the women's leagues the same way you would talk about the men's leagues. Most importantly, help build a culture where hard work is respected equally, no matter who it comes from. In the end, a society that doesn't respect women's work is a society choosing to hold itself back.